a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, they're just 320 days until Christmas 2024. Oh my goodness. And if you're here to see my friends Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net or Star Wars Meg or even Bespin Bulletin, you are sadly disappointed today because you got me. You just have me. Unfortunately, Jason's got sick kids, so he's been chatting with us this morning. Jason's taking care of his kids, and they're putting on a movie and just kind of hanging out. So that's where Jason is. Meg has been busy this morning. She's been she hasn't even posted her daily video yet, so I'm sure she's getting that ready. She's probably waiting for that Empire magazine article, and she's putting that together. And our friend Bespin Bulletin, we've been chatting with him a little bit this morning as well. So we've got a ton of news to cover, though. There's and you know, Matt Risman. Matt, I give you a pass only because you spent so much money this last week that you need a little recovery time. You get a little recovery time. We don't know that Rey has been delayed. You know, my friend, we don't know this. You just are here to troll me. I get it. It's fine. We don't know. There is some news. So let me bring this up because as we talk about, I've got so many tabs open on to share with you all today, and I want to share. Let's see, not that wrong button. There you go. Oh, Santa. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's pick this window right here, and let's share this one with you all today. This will be the way to do it. All right. So we've got a ton of news. The first it ties to what Matt Risman was sharing is this right here. This is from the Disney earnings presentation this week, and in this in the presentation deck, there's this page. You can see this is their theatrical releases as we continue revitalizing our creativity. I love the statement in there that says, while we are revitalizing our creativity. If you remember back, Bob Iger said, we've got to quit just formulaically putting together movies. We've kind of lost some creativity. We've lost some heart. We've lost some of the juice that makes the thing go. And so here we've got Bob Iger kind of in, or at least in the earnings call, saying we're continuing to revitalize our creativity. And in this, it says 2024, we can see Planet of the Apes, Inside Out 2, Deadpool, Alien, Moana 2, Mufasa, and there's a little addition to that I saw subsequent to this, and it has to do. Well, no, I think it's a Moana 2. I think they said here it's going to be a theatrical release. And then 2025, next year, there's Captain America, Snow White, Fantastic Four, Elio, Zootopia, and Avatar. Rob, where's Sketchcraft when you need him? Look, Avatar's coming again in 2025, and then 2026. You can see Frozen 3, Toy Story, and Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, with this 2026, it does not say what date that is. And so whenever you want more information, you go to the Bespin of Bulletins, the Bulletin of Bespin, and you read what he has to say about it. First of all, Mumbo Jimbo, $5 super chat. Thank you for that, my friend. He says, Santa, you just made my day. Thank you so much. Says, I'm fighting a cold that I picked up from work. A work trip to Cairo. Oh, Cairo, Egypt. I just saw Egypt in the news about resurfacing one of the pyramids, and they put a big halt to that activity. I saw that this morning. It says that your show always lifts my spirits. Thank you so much, Mumbo Jimbo. And Alex, I'm actually really rooting for the Rey movie. I want it to be fantastic. I want it to be great, and I want people to love Rey's character as much as I do. And so I really hope the movie comes out and that it's fantastic. One that all Star Wars fans, or at least the vast majority, can support and enjoy, and maybe find something in the character that you've not seen before. So that's what I'm hoping for. What do we got here? I'll just kind of catch up on some of the, Colin made it first. As soon as I posted the video out to YouTube, well, he was right here. Thank you for that, Colin. Appreciate you being here first thing this morning. And we've got some other folks that are going to have to catch a replay, catching up in the chat. So here we go. Let's go. I'm getting through the chat. So if I missed something, then we'll get there. It says Sabersmith says, one of my students just said, "Where's Finn? Santa, where is Finn?" Finn is, we're hoping John Boyega signs on to do the movie. And there's rumors that this Rey movie is going to go into production this summer. Perhaps. We've yet to get any confirmation of that. We'll see if we get something here in the next coming days. Because if that's actually going to go into production, and again, that's rumor. We don't have any verification of that, but as soon as we get verification that production is starting up, then we'll run with that. We'll let you all know as soon as we know, right? But here's what Bespin had to say about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that was announced in the Disney earnings call. Bespin writes, yesterday, during a Disney earnings call, Bob Iger and the company made a handful of announcements, such as confirming release dates and windows for various upcoming films, mostly for sequels, including Frozen 3, so on and so forth. Within the bevy of announcements, Iger shared a brief, and I mean brief, update on the recently announced Star Wars theatrical film, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Iger reiterated something that was first revealed in the announcement from last month. The film is set to be directed by Jon Favreau, will lead the Star Wars film slate. Currently, 3 Star Wars dates are on the calendar. 3. First one, May 2026. Second one, December 2026. And then December 2027. Lucasfilm or Disney have not publicly commented to what Star Wars project will release on what date. I'm back. My camera did a thing. So let me know if you missed anything there. It says Lucasfilm or Disney have not publicly commented what Star Wars project will release on what date. However, given Iger in the initial announcement would lead the slate, you'd assume Mando and Grogu would take the May 2026 window. It's interesting because at the same time, we have this 2026 slate, right, that we can all see right here. I don't see the Rey movie on there, right? Not saying it's not going to happen, but I don't see it on there either. And it says 2026 plus. we don't see the 2027 Star Wars thing on there either. So, look, I don't know what's going on specifically is to the Rey movie, but at this point, I would assume that we're talking about the there's Risman. If anybody knows Jerry Seinfeld, or you run into him in one of these signing things, I will pay whatever it costs you guys to get him to record doing the Risman instead of Newman, right? I want the video of him in the face and the inflection, the same sort of thing, right? Risman. I need that from Jerry Seinfeld. maybe somebody will have to do it on the deep fake. That's all I'm saying. And every time he comes on and he bugs me, I can just hit the button and play it, and we can enjoy. There you go. So look, I don't know if the Rey movie is delayed. I don't know if it's still scheduled for 2026, and I don't know if the Grogu movie is getting the May or the December 2026 date. We don't know. And I asked Bespin and Jason this morning if they had gotten any more specifics on this since Bespin's article, and I got crickets. Neither Jason or Bespin were able to give me any information on that. So yeah, you're exactly right, Matt. In all honesty, he has no idea when that movie's supposed to release, and who's to say? The rest of Bespin's article here says he personally did not listen to the call, so he doesn't know his exact wording. But the 2026 release, it says, but that a 2026 release and it'll lead the slate was said. It says that in an X post, Twitter, from The Hollywood Reporter, a respectful journalist who was listening in shared that the film will likely release in 2026, because it does say on the slide 2026 plus. It doesn't say 2026. It says 2026 plus. It leaves open the window that the Mando Grogu movie could actually be 2027. We don't know. I would assume that it's going to get one of those 2026 dates, right? I really do. I would not expect it would jump to 2027. Mumbo Jimbo, Jason's been AWOL for a while. You know, I talked to him last week, and I sent him a text beforehand just to see if he's okay. But he's doing okay. We're in a bit of a Star Wars news lull. They've got some stories, man. Between Jason and Bespin, they've got some stories kind of sitting in the hopper. They've got some stuff ready to run when they get the right timing and the right situation set up. So look for information to come from Jason and Bespin, one or the other or both, soon. I would expect sooner than later. And by that, I just mean within the next 3 months. I think within the next 3 months, Jason or Bespin are going to release a story that I'm pretty excited for. I have some ideas, some concept of what it's about, but I'm looking forward to seeing the details on what they have to say. So yeah, they're doing fine. Jason's kids are homesick today, and he's got kid duty, and he's got them watching movies and kind of relax and having the soup and the fluids and all of that. So Jason's doing well. Thanks for asking about it, Mumbo Jimbo. Get back to Bespin here. It says Disney later followed up the call with an updated release calendar for the public. 3 dates, May and December 26th and December 27 are still on the calendar, and all sport the untitled Star Wars name, meaning no date was given to the film that's set to lead the slate, Mandalorian and Grogu. So we don't know if that's going to take the May date or not. It says Disney and Lucasfilm seemingly continue to remain non-committal, and so on you go. So if you guys want to support Bespin, go out to thebespinbulletin.com. Support him there. It does him well to know that we've got folks reading his content and appreciating the work that he does. So please do that. All right. So that's what we've got on the Grogu movie, the Rey movie, and in any other project. There is another story that we can kind of bounce right on this because it's movie news, and it has to do with who's Santa rooting for in the sports ball final. I'll address that. I am a big fan of the Ohio State University, right? The Ohio State University, and any team that has players on it from the Ohio State University, I root for. And to the best of my knowledge, that team in this sports ball final would be the one that hails from San Francisco. So I'll be rooting for our boys who are playing for the 49ers to do well, and maybe the 49ers win. Plus, Kansas City, my daughter lives there, and I'm just not a big fan. I'm just, I'll be rooting for Taylor Swift to get as much screen time as possible. How about that? I honestly don't care. I don't care. I won't be watching live. I'll probably turn it on from time to time. I'll check the score on my phone. That's about it. That'll be about the bulk of it. So we get a follow up here on this interview with Donald Glover from the. It's less about being a Swiftie as it is just being a turd, right? I'm just kind of poking the bear, having fun at the expense of the folks who hate every sighting of her, because I'm not going to be watching the Super Bowl itself. I mean, check in on it from time to time. I'm not going to actually be watching it, so I won't see any coverage of her, except I'll hear about all the fans complaining if she gets too much coverage. And, that makes me happy. So Donald Glover says in this article, and this article is mostly about the Mr. and Mrs. Smith streaming series that he and his wife made. For the record, I watched that series. The first 3 episodes are absolutely great. Hooked my wife and I, and we sat and we watched. We binge watched the entire series. I will say that after episode 3, somewhere around episode 4 or 5, and then 6 and 7, that show drags. It drags terribly, and I understand what they're trying to show us. I understand what the story is, but we could have taken those, instead of it being an 8 episode series, it could have easily been a 6. Easily. You could have cut two episodes off and it wouldn't hurt it a bit. And I find the ending a little unsatisfying, but it's the story. So I get it. It's fine. Overall, it's worth a watch. If you want to skip, when it gets slow, and if you understand what's going on in the story, you understand what the relationship is between Mr. and Mrs. Smith, then about the time you get to episode 4 or 5, just skip straight to episode 8 and watch the final. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You will not have missed anything. You just go straight to that. Once you understand, you're like, oh, I see. I got it. Then just stop, go straight to episode 8 and watch that. That'll be better. So we go to this interview. It's all the way down towards the bottom of the interview. And the interviewer asks, you and your brother are writing a Star Wars project centered on Lando Calrissian. I remember you telling him about your sit down with Billy D. Williams years ago. You're going on and on about how you were thinking about the character, and then you asked Billy what he thought. Now, it should be noted that this movie was not mentioned in the earnings statement. It's not on the slate. We don't know when it's happened, much like many other movies that Lucasfilm have announced. We know nothing. We know nothing. So there's that. we don't know when this is going to happen, but it's interesting to see that Donald Glover does talk about a little bit here. Says in the article, he says he's tired of doing TV, he needs a break from doing series, so on, which leads into this question actually, and then the speculation begins. Well, you're going to start working on the movie. Since you're tired of doing TV, you need a break from doing series. How about the movie? He says, well, this is Billy D. Williams says he was like, I don't know, be charming. And he wasn't looking at me. That was my favorite part. I think a waitress went by. So they're sitting there at the booth, and he says, hey, what advice do you have on Lando Calrissian? Waitress comes up, I don't know, be charming. That kind of thing, right? And the interviewer says, didn't Brad Pitt say the same thing about Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Like, just be charming. And Glover says, he kind of did. He's like, I'm sure you do a great job. And they're both right in a sense. Just do what works for you. And interesting that he says that. Meg covered it in her coverage of this this week as well. Do what you do. Right? Don't try to be somebody else. That's one of the best words of advice I got from other Santas as I started being a professional Santa Claus. They're like, don't try to be somebody else's Santa. Don't be, Tim Allen. Don't try to be, Ed Asner. You be you. You be Brian. And Brian, your version of Santa is the version of Santa you should be. You'll be more successful. You'll be happier, and you'll do a better performance. You'll put on a better character image of Santa if you do what you do best. Don't try to be a magician if you're not a magician, right? Don't try to be a singing Santa if you're not a singing. Don't try to do things that you're not. So really good advice. And Donald Glover is basically saying the same thing. Just do what works for you. And he says, was taking on the Lando project an easy one? Glover says, no. Maya, his wife, and I talk about no's a lot. It's the only power you have in this industry. But I said yes, because I like the characters and my kids love Star Wars. Oh my goodness, what did I do? This is great. He likes the characters and his kids love Star Wars. You want to create a movie that your kids are going to love. And that's where Star Wars kind of started. George Lucas built very, very powerful movies that kids fell in love with, and then grew into adulthood with fond memories of. Donald Glover's going to want to do the same thing, but he's going to create a Star Wars that is the movie that he can do, right? And he goes on. He says, they mentioned about taking the reins. He says, I just know when something's going to be good. I keep dragging my mouse. I know when something's going to be good. My goodness, Santa. You're fighting an industry, right? Because you're really fighting the industry when you put your input on a franchise of that magnitude. And it's not like, it's not like I hate the industry. He's saying, I don't hate the industry. Say, well, but maybe I do hate the industry. He says, I feel like I have enough control, which is good. Kathleen Kennedy saying, you do a Donald Glover Star Wars movie about Lando. I think there's got to be a little parameters around that, right? You've got to at least put in some lanes, right? You do Star Wars, Donald Glover, do a Donald Glover Star Wars, but it needs to be in this lane. And I think that's where that's the responsibility of Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is to make sure that it at least stays in the lane, right? Because Donald Glover, God love him, he's a creative guy. We don't want him to take Star Wars completely off the rails, right? So, yeah, Chillmonger, good to see you, my friend. Chillmonger says, yes, parameters, please. Yeah, exactly. So, it says, I feel like I have enough control. And maybe you get painted as a control freak. But it's like, yeah, control allows for the vision to be singular. And Meg went on about this, the singularity of the director, the writer. It says, if the vision is singular, the vision is singular. And you get lots of collaboration in these things, but you have a singular vision. Think about the Mandalorian. Dave and John had a singular vision. Dave came in and collaborated with him and helped define that, the rails and keep it on track. And they've been a fantastic collaboration for creating Star Wars content. So if the vision is singular, people want it more. The less it's singular, the less people want it because they feel like they could have made it. It says, look, we live in a time anybody can make anything. You go on TikTok, there's literally every type of thing. There's documentaries, puppetry, goes on and on and on. So why would you want to see something you feel like you could have made? Why do you want to pay so much money to go to the theater to see something you feel like you could have made? And that's a good point. I would bring this up because we also, my wife and I, catch up on some of these tropes. Right? There's a lot of tropes that are very, very popular in Hollywood. One of the things that's a pet peeve of mine, it's absolutely pet peeve, is whenever a threat or danger is coming, whether it's Godzilla, King Kong, a velociraptor, earthquake, building falling, the bomb going off, whatever, there's a car getting ready to run somebody over. The trope, the thing that you see repeatedly, makes me crazy, makes me insane crazy every time I see it, is people stand and watch. There's a dinosaur coming to eat you. Oh, great. Let me stand here and watch. And then at the very last moment, they run. And then what happens? What happens? You know the trope. You know what happens, right? They run and they trip and fall. And you can guarantee it. You can write it, right? Anybody can write it because it is so tropey. It's terrible. There's tons of that. And if you want to see that on full display, you've got a really good cast. Well, I'll say you've got a well-established cast in this NBC series of where they go back in time. I know the name of it. I've got the wrong word in my head. I've got Andreas. It's not Andreas. It's not the Andreas fault. It's the tar pits, the tar pit place. they do the same thing, right? It happens over and over and over in this show, and it's a terrible show. And the graphics are mid. The actors, La Brea, that's it, Colin. Thank you, La Brea. La Brea. You want to see Hollywood tropes on full display. I mean, full display. The tropiest of tropey movie shows, La Brea is it. And it's a terrible show as a result. It's not good. It is not good show. But my wife and I, we watch it. We know what it is. And you know what something is. And when we watch it, we turn it on Saturday afternoons. And if we fall asleep, take a nap, or Sunday afternoons right after church, we'll throw on La Brea. And if we're busy, we're doing chores, we're vacuuming the floor, take a nap, and we miss it, so what? We don't care. It's a bad show, but we'll keep watching it. So it's the same thing. La Brea, tropey. But so do you want somebody to come in and use Hollywood tropes to make a movie? No, you don't. You don't. Colin says, I live in LA and I don't watch the show. My son loves the pits though. Okay, it's fine. It is what it is, but it's a terrible show. The actors, though, they've been in other things where they are like award-winning roles. A lot goes into writing. If you've got a good writer on a show, and they take characters that are compelling with a storyline that's compelling, then you'll watch it. La Brea has a concept that's interesting, but the writing's terrible. And it is tropey. You can guarantee every single time when there's a threat coming at them, the first thing they're going to do is stop and watch it. And it's running right at them. It's coming. The building is falling. Let me stand here for just a bit. All right. I want to stand here for a bit and watch it. And once I've watched it a little bit, then I'll run. Yeah, sure. And then I'm going to trip and fall. You can count on it. It's going to happen. So, so Donald Glover, I like what he's got to say here. He's not interested in creating a tropey story, right? He doesn't want to do that. So there you have it. That's Donald Glover. You know, Empire Magazine made a bit of a splash this week because they tweeted this the other day. It says, "Hello there." Well, the people took that and said, "Oh, there's an announcement coming from Lucasfilm." And I heard TRB cover this. They did a great job. TRB, when they covered this story, perfect. Why would you expect Lucasfilm to make a Star Wars announcement, let's say about a Kenobi season 2, via an outlet like a magazine, the Empire Magazine? Why would they do that when they had an earnings call just hours before, right? So 30 hours, 36 hours, whatever it is, hours before. Why wouldn't they do that in their own earnings call or in a big publicity statement rather than post it through an outlet like Empire Magazine? So we were chatting about it. We meaning Meg and Jason, myself, right? We're all chatting about it, and Jason's like, "It's not going to be anything," and Meg's like, "Oh, it's going to be a nothing burger, you say?" Hey, Mariah says, "You're making me laugh so hard. La Brea is so bad we watch it because it is." Yes, I laugh and predict through the whole thing. It's true. It's It's terrible. Yeah, we were saying this is going to be a nothing burger, and we were posting stuff like that in our private chats. And yeah, it turns out, you know what? It was a thing. It was this. The prequels are their 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace is coming out. It's coming up, right? The 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace is coming up, and Empire Magazine has some exclusive interviews with some of the cast involved in the very first part, and they've got 3 covers that they're going to be rolling out next month, or actually, it's coming up. It says here when. We'll just kind of scroll down through here. I saw a date at the bottom. So here's the first one. 25 years of the Star Wars prequels, brand new interviews with Ian McGregor, Natalie Portman, Liam Neeson, Hayden Christensen, and Samuel L. Jackson. I hope somebody asked Samuel L. Jackson, is Mace Windu dead? And he gives us a scoop. He's not dead. And you know what? We're going to be in the Rey movie. I joke again. Don't lose control. I'm joking. Here's the second cover. I like this second cover. It's pretty good. It covers the prequels really well. And then they've got this third one. The third one's a lot of fun as well. It's a bit of a kind of a what is it? Looking for the hidden Easter eggs, right? Kind of thing. And then they say this is coming out Thursday, 15th of February. So another week. You can purchase the magazine and you try to get all 3 covers if you like. Pick your favorite, or just read the article when it comes out online. Nothing burger. Meg, Jason, we all suspected it was going to be that. And the fun thing now, and I've started doing it already, I've started clipping all of the thumbnails that said, Kenobi season 2 announcement coming today, coming tomorrow, coming imminently, coming. And so I love capturing those thumbnails just because, again, I'm just being a little bit of a turd, right? And lots of really good Star Wars content creators have created their thumbnails and their video titles kind of leading into that Kenobi season 2 announcement. And so I've just been collecting them. If you want to send them to me, feel free. Go right on Discord, shoot me another thumbnail of Kenobi season 2 based on this Empire Magazine thing. It'll be great fun. Let me skip this. I'm gonna actually pick. Let me go to a different story. Baymax is in the private chat. He knows what I say privately. And I look, I'm a little more generous online. I try to be a friendly guy. And I'm not trying to pick any fights with anybody. So there you go. There you go. I saw another comment from Baymax up above. If I've missed one of your comments, I've seen some good ones, and I just kind of blew over it. Feel free to put it back into the chat, and do me a favor if you would, because I keep getting in my videos keep getting copyright claims, not strikes, but copyright claims, and my subscriber count keeps going down, down, down. If you guys could share this out and let other folks know, we're having fun here. We're talking about Star Wars, and we're not trying to pick on anybody. We're having a good time, and we love Star Wars here. So there you go. Let folks know that we're here, we're having fun, and we love Star Wars. If you love Star Wars, you like hanging out with other people who love Star Wars, come on by. Give the channel a subscribe. It does a lot of good. It helps me out quite a bit. And, I've been really busy with my day job, and I haven't been able to cover Star Wars as much as I would like. It's these Friday streams that give me so much fun to look forward to. So there you go. Disney buys a stake in Fortnite maker Epic Games with $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion into Epic Games, the Fortnite maker. Again, I thought TRB covered this really well yesterday. They talked about how this is most likely to do with the VR experience. Disney has been wanting to do a VR experience for the parks for some time. It's a big investment that they're making. Oh, thank you about that, Saber Smith. I appreciate it. I'll tell you, I'm a little skeptical on the VR experience thing. We had a big push in our company. We started having VR type meetings where you would make your way into this VR kind of town. And you would go into the theater, you'd find yourself in a seat in the theater, you'd sit there, you had your little avatar there, and you could participate in the meeting as if you were there. Except you weren't, you're on your computer, you're watching avatars in a thing. I was like, this is strange. This isn't, I don't need this. But I'm old, so maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a curmudgeon. I don't care about the VR experience. I also don't have a VR headset, but maybe that's it. Well, I think Disney parks are trying to do a VR experience where folks who would like to visit a park, they'd like to visit a destination, could do so. Gives me crazy motion sickness. Can't do it at all. Some people have that experience too. But I think it makes sense that what they're saying is this platform that they use for Fortnite is a really good platform that can be used to build the park experiences that they want to build, where you visit the different worlds, the different places, and you could have an exclusive kind of experience without putting out the money to go to the actual park. I'm sure it'll still be behind a paywall. There'll be ways that they're going to monetize it. I am absolutely positive that people will have to buy like placement ads. You'll walk by someplace and there'll be a Coca-Cola machine, or maybe it's a Pepsi-Cola machine, or maybe it's something else, right? You get the little Starbucks logo over there. Those things will be in the environment, and those other companies will pay for those ad placements, right? And you may even see like billboards advertising Mandalorian season 4 is coming up, whatever the case might be, right? Hey, thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thanks. Appreciate it. So I think they're absolutely right that this is probably what Disney's investment in this is. $1.5 billion is no chump change, and they're certainly going to be looking for a way to monetize that and to use as part of their experience. You remember, Disney is an entertainment company, and putting this kind of money into it, that makes sense. The other thing that's in this story, and I saw it advertised, was announced on the same earnings call that Disney announced they won the streaming rights to Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour concert film for Disney Plus. So anybody worried about Disney Plus subscriptions going down, worry not. Swifties are coming to the rescue. Swifties will be arriving in force. Anytime, any moment, they'll be arriving on Disney Plus, just as they've released new legal agreements that you have to sign, you have to read, and all that. That you can't share your passwords. They're doing the Netflix thing. You can only use it in your household. So, like my kids who are in the town next to me or out in Kansas City, who are logged into our family. Right, they're my kids. They're logged into our family Disney Plus account. That's going to come to an end at some point, right? And the Swifties who are out there still using their parents' Disney Plus account, guess what they're going to do? They're going to buy their own Disney Plus accounts too. Why? Because they're going to want to watch this concert. That's what they're going to do. So there you have it. I think that's it. Mumbo Jumbo. I was burned my first venture into VR with the PlayStation VR as an early adopter. It's going to be a while before I take the risk with another VR option. I did the sort of same thing with Verizon. Verizon Wireless had a deal where you could get this like VR headset that your phone would mount into, and when you put it on, there were different apps you could get and have a VR experience using your phone as the screen. It's a real low tech. It's just a headphone. I mean, it's just like goggles that you put on, and it mounts the phone right in front of your eyes. We used it a couple times. It was interesting. It's like, all right. Never used it again. It sit in a box. Didn't do much with it. All right. So there you go. Disney is investing in Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift is going to rescue Disney. I'm sure of it. Because why not? It's 2024, the year of Taylor Swift. That's the deal. Yeah. So here's Star Wars News Network's thing about the Mando Grogu movie. This is, I'm going to come back to that one last. I'm going to come back to that one last because I'm super excited about it, you guys. If you're still here and you want to see what Santa's really excited in the Star Wars news, it's coming up after these messages, right? It's coming up after this story. Monday, Gizmodo posted an article. People started quoting, Stellan Skarsgard is pleased with Andor season 2. Of course, actors are always pleased with the work they did. You know who else is pleased with what they did? Ewan McGregor and what he did with, and I'll say not only Ewan McGregor, but also I lost his name all of a sudden. Anakin. All right. They're really, really thrilled with Kenobi. They were very, very happy with it. Fans less so, right? But Stellan, he says the second I mentioned Andor, Stellan, his face lit up. The legendary actor who's back to portray Baron Vladimir Harkonnen in Denis Villeneuve, Dune Part 2, recently finished filming second season of the Star Wars show, the hit Star Wars show, right? Hayden, that's it, Sabersmith, thanks. Hayden Christensen, right? Stellan is, he says, we'll learn about his instantly legendary character, Luthen Rail. Is Luthen going to live? You know, that's a question. Yeah, Ewan doesn't even know his show. He honestly doesn't know. That's true. That's true, Rick. In season 1 of Andor, Rael's a crucial character. He's the person primarily responsible for bringing Cassian Andor into the rebellion. And he runs a very cool shop, flies an amazing ship, and gives arguably the best monologue in Star Wars history. He does give some the writing in this show is just amazing. If, not everybody's a big fan of Andor, I liked it. I know I've got friends of mine who liked it, but this one, the writing, these monologues, somebody wrote those monologues and it's fantastic, right? So after discussing Dune Part 2 for several minutes, they brought up our adoration for Andor, and Skarsgard smiled brightly. He, of course, can't say much, if anything, about what's coming, but he did tell us when asked about how he felt where his character ended up, he said, "I'm satisfied where it goes. It's such good writing, and it's Tony Gilroy. I really like to say his lines. Tony's a great writer. He got a singular vision. Fantastic show. It's not for everybody, but it's a fantastic show." It says, while the return of Andor was originally planned for August, the writers and actors strike changed it. Production shut down for months, and they got back to it. They had some reshoots and all of that. It's likely to be 2025. That's the gist of it. Absolutely true. So looking forward to Andor season 2. And I saw Mumbo Jimbo. I'm sure Acolyte will be great. Skeleton Crew will be good. But Andor season 2 is what I'm mostly looking forward to. Yeah, I am excited. So this year, I am stoked about Bad Batch season 3. And the little clip that came out this week was posted to IMDb and then taken down and then put back on IMDb is wonderful. It's really, really good. It shows you the gravitas, right? The seriousness of the situation and what they were going through. It looks great. And I'm really, really pumped for the Bad Batch season 3. But after that, for me, it's absolutely going to be the Acolyte. The Acolyte. I've been reading the High Republic novels all the way through, and I just started the last one that was released. It's Escape from Valo. Escape from Valo started off really well. For folks that haven't read it, it's not their cup of tea. I've enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see Venestra. Yeah, Rick says Venestra returns. I'm excited to see how. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these High Republic characters make it into the show. I'm hoping that there's more than just Venestra, but look, it's pretty good, right? So I'm most excited for Acolyte. And then we'll see what happens between now and then. There's talk of a Visions season 3. There's talk of the Tales of the Jedi season 2 and Skeleton Crew. I don't know what to think of any of those just yet, and we'll wait and see how it all shakes out. When will the predictions start for the Bad Batch? Oh, we're going to start that next week because we've still got 12 days. Next week, we'll be down into the final stretch. And so next Friday, when we come on here to do our show, we'll be talking about the Bad Batch predictions. We'll put out the Bad Batch predictions form and let you all put your predictions in. It's a fun game, you guys. We have a lot of fun every time we do it, and we do the watch parties. You can get your name listed on a ticker at the bottom of the screen. I say, do I have any of those? Let me see if I've got one. I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this. So if you play the predictions game and you score as well or better than Santa on my predictions, then you can get your name on a little ticker like this. You can see your name go by. You don't have to subscribe to the channel. You don't have to be a member of the channel. You don't have to pay $1. You don't have to pay anything. And you can get your name listed on the Wall of Fame for doing well on the predictions. It's fun. And then when we go through the predictions and we do the watch parties, it gives something for us to talk about. And we have a lot of fun with it. So I hope you all, if you haven't played it, I hope that you stick around and participate with that with us. It's a great interactive way to talk about Star Wars. The last story, the one that I've been saving up, the one that I am absolutely stoked about the potential for is, and if you guys don't know, if you're a collector of, or you're looking to be a collector of Star Wars figures, right? Maybe you would like to start getting into the vintage collection, right? And you see here, we've got the Mandalorian, we've got R5 here. maybe you'd like to collect and you're not sure how to do that, or you just want to keep up on the latest collector news. YakFace. Look for YakFace. He's right here. I've got this right here. Yeah, thanks for the prizes. I give away and look, several folks here have won prizes, and you get some Star Wars Santa merch for free. I buy it and I ship it and I send it to you. It's all out of my pocket. So yeah, if you do well enough, you can get some Star Wars Santa merch. And hey there, Leia, good to see you. But here's the story from YakFace's website, and he catches these waves, and he sees these are rumored vintage collection items. We just saw the E-Wing released this week. Didn't know it was coming, and all of a sudden the E-Wing's there. If you love the Ahsoka show and you want to collect the Ahsoka figures, that E-Wing is going to be great. Plus, it goes all the way back into some original Star Wars artwork that wasn't utilized. It goes into some of the games that people have played. That E-Wing's a great collection item for folks. So there you have that. But then rumored TVC items, and he catches these code names, right? These are all code names: elevation, gratitude, scholarship, semester, trimester, Bronx. Bunch of stuff. Who knows, right? These will be things that, as they're announced, YakFace, this is the guy to follow. He will start giving you names for these. So we have another 2024 wave called Enrolled, Success, Major, Masters, Campus, and Study. What are these vintage collection figures? Oh, probably half of them are Grogus and Mandos, but who knows what the others might be, right? More stormtroopers. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, the Sabersmiths, he's got his sweatshirt. Thank you. Oh, that's great. We jump on down. See, Jump 4-pack. That's going to be a troop builder pack. We don't know which troop builder pack that'll be, but these 4-packs, they're great for folks who want to do troop building. Is one of the really smart things that Hasbro's done with the line is creating these collector packs. And then Degree, Sunny, and Xander. You see Xander? It says Mandalorian and BLURRG. Oh boy, that's got Santa excited. I don't need another Mando, but I need a BLURRG. And if I have to buy, 5 more Mandos to get 5 BLURGs, so be it. Santa will have giveaways of Mando figures. I've already got, how many Mandos do I got over there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got at least 4 that I can immediately see. I've got more in the drawer. I've got Mando figures everywhere, and I've got more ordered. By the way, there are more Mando figures coming. So yeah, if I have to buy 5 more Mandos to get 5 BLURGs, I'll do it. I'm just telling you all, I'll do it. And Hasbro, if this is YakFace is great. YakFace is the guy. If this is the case, I'll do it. You can also see Declan. It's Moff Gideon's light cruiser hallway. Oh, from the end of Mandalorian season 2. This will be a big thing. People are going to want to take that Luke Skywalker. They're going to want to put him in the hallway. And you know what they're going to want to put in there with him? Lots of those dark troopers. And for him to crush. It'll be great. Baymax needs 3 BLURGs. Real Ben, I hope you're having a great Friday. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Dale, Skywalker's Academy, they'll release the single BLURG after you've bought 5 Mando and BLURG combos. True story. And I've mentioned this over and over again. All they have to do is release that BLURG on different cards. They can release it with a Rebels card. They can release it with the Mando card. They can release it over and over again. Slight paint variations. If you watch Rebels, you see that the BLURGs in there have different paint combinations. So all they have to do is repack and repaint, repack and repaint, rinse and repeat with the BLURRGs. They can make money all day long. I'm excited about it. Here we go. $5 from Mumbo Jimbo. Will you please do a big review video when you get your HasLab Ghost? So jealous. If I'd bought it, my wife would have divorced me. Well, Mumbo Jimbo, one thing that we did is I bought 2 of them. I bought one as an absolute channel giveaway. So one of our Elite Squad members, either from membership here on YouTube or better yet, over on Patreon. If you're supporting the channel as an Elite Squad member on Patreon or here on YouTube, and you've been supporting the channel for at least 12 months, you will go into an entry just for being there to win the giveaway. And I will ship you at my expense that ghost. I will do it. The second ghost is on the bubble. If we see the ghost in the Mandalorian, movie, and it comes out with Mandalorian, I will keep it. if it doesn't make its way into the Mandalorian, it will also be another giveaway item. So there's a possibility of winning 2 of those ghosts. But yes, that's it. That's it. So look, I am super excited. I've been hammering Hasbro about the BLURRGs forever. And I will absolutely do. I'll be buying multiples. I'll be setting them up. As Baymax said, you need 3 of them minimum. So I'll be doing that and adding them to my collection. I have the Razor Crest right there, and I'll be happy to put them with my Razor Crest. I have my 3D painted or 3D printed and painted BLURRG that X-Wing gifted to me, which was a fantastic gift from him. So I've got that. But then these TVC BLURRGs, I've been really excited for. So thank you for the super chat, Mumbo Jimbo. I will absolutely do a big review video of that second one. So what I'll do is the first ghost, I'll leave it boxed, unopened. I won't touch it, and I'll put a label on it and I'll ship it out. That's what's going to happen. So you'll get an unopened ghost. If you want to open it, you open it. You want to do whatever you want to sell it, you can sell it. That's up to you. The second ghost, I will open it. I will do a great big review of it. We'll talk about it a lot. And then if it doesn't show up in the Mandalorian, I'll do another drawing and we'll give away the one that's opened and the one that I reviewed on stream. So we'll do that. We'll do that for you. Thank you for that. What else do we have in the chat? Yeah, hallway collection coming soon. I know you got to really watch. Yeah, which hallway? It's that's a good question, KG. I think that it's the one. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it'll be the one that Luke comes down where he's taken out all of those dark troopers. It'll have the elevator down at the end, and it'll come up to the room where the bridge, right? So I'm pretty sure it'll be that one. We'll see what it is. They'll repack the BLURRG with loads of different packing figures. Oh, that's true too. They'll throw in lots of different figures with it. But look, they can repaint those things all day long, right? Well, yes, we do need. This is another good point, Baymax. We lost Carl Weathers just after our show ended last week. Where I was doing the Star Wars Weekend Review with Jason Ward. Within an hour after that show, we got the news of Carl Weathers passing. Big shock to the Star Wars community. Losing Grief Karga, super sad. And what a great guy. And I love the comment. I love his quote, "Be peace. Be peace." And that's what I try to do here. You know, if I disagree with you, if I take a different position than you, Meg and Jason know I disagree with them all the time. But we're here to be peace. We're be peace among the fandom. That's why I invite folks from all different perspectives to come to the show, to come in to the chat. We could all be friends. Be peace. Take Carl Weathers' advice. But a season 1 Grief Karga would be wonderful. I still need it for my collection. It's the very first time you saw Grief Karga, and he's wearing that kind of brown leather outfit with the big gauntlets. We never have gotten that in a vintage collection, and definitely need that. Definitely, that's another thing I've been kind of railing on Hasbro for not creating. We need to make Boba Fett with the holiday special armor. They did make the holiday special armor, Boba Fett. I think it's in the retro collection line. I tried my best to get my hands on one of them, and I never did. I even had Yachty kind of looking out for them for me, and I couldn't find them. We do have the retro Boba Fett from the holiday special animated. He is there, not the Beast. we don't have the Mythosaur. I think that's a Mythosaur in that holiday special. Don't have that. But yeah, that'd be it. Baymax says that it'll be in the Mando movie for sure. If it is, I'm prepared. And then they could re-release all the figures that they've now are carded for Rebels. They can re-release all those carded figures with Mando cards. Resell all of them. Repack, repaint. Right. Only losers have less than 3 blurgs. I says, I only have 2 so far, so I'm sad. Baymax says it'd be modular hallway pieces so you can build out large dioramas. You know, that's what they did with the hallway from, I want to think it's from New Hope on the Tantive 4. I think it's that hallway. My brain might not be putting it together right, but people will buy 3 or 4 of those and put them together. There's lots, you can see lots of photography done where they've got several of these things lined up together and they attach them. They'll do the same here as well. People will end up buying that hallway set over and over again. Yeah. Be peace. Absolutely be peace. KG says, I would love a high magistrate. Yes, that is a nice outfit too. Grief Karga, that high magistrate Grief Karga. I am certain we'll get that. But that season 1 Grief Karga is long overdue. Real Ben, I disagree with you on some of your sequel takes, but that doesn't stop us from being friends at all. Thank you for that, Real Ben. Yes, a lot of folks had to take issue with my sequel takes, right? But we could still be friends. I mentioned I count myself as a friend of the of Echo Base Network, EBN. Those guys were really, really kind to me. They've never been great. We had one little thing. It wasn't little. It kind of blew up, right? Where we had a show and Meg and Jason said some stuff, and it kind of blew up and it went sideways. And then there was a dust up. We ended up being clipped from that. I think Jay Drunk 3PO clipped it, or he reposted it. Somebody clipped it and then he reposted it, and a bunch of other people reposted it. And it became a thing. But you know what? Coach has always been just absolutely wonderful to me personally. And I take no animosity towards those guys, Nick and Coach. They're doing their thing over there at EBN. And I try to catch some of their shows. But you know what I don't do? I don't hate watch EBN. I could, right? There's a lot of content EBN puts out that I dislike tremendously. There's a lot of content they put out that I'm like, oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible take. You're wrong. And I could sit here and just rail on about EBN and go on about how terrible their takes are on certain things, and really just make a fight. But I'm not interested in that. I don't want to do that. I'm past that stage of my life, and Coach has been wonderful. I got some of the nicest messages from them. DMs. They've been nothing but great for me. And Coach has my cell phone number. I've got Coach's cell phone number. Look, it's the way it is. Only if the High Magistrate figure comes with the cape, comes with cape droids, though. Cape droids. Oh, I know what you mean. The droids that were holding his cape as he was going down the stairs. Yes. Yeah, we need those for sure. For sure. Bring back Agreeing to Disagree. KG, you're right. You're right. I love the prequels, and I know I'm not the biggest. Yes, the prequels are not my biggest cup of tea, right? They're just not. And I've come to appreciate them for what they are, but still, they make me mad. Wonder if they'll recast. I don't think so. And this is a good point. Grief Karga, Carl Weathers, established character, and we lost him tragically. We also have another just fantastic character, and we lost way too soon. Big difference, though, right? Big difference. Carl Weathers has been in Mandalorian multiple seasons. We had and there's been comics of the series go out with him in it. I really don't want them to recast Grief Karga. I really don't want them to recast Carl Weathers. I don't. But in the Ahsoka series, we have Balin. Balin's Skull is probably one of the favorite characters came out of that entire series. His story is not done, and he has a big role, I think, in where that story is, how it's going to unfold and where it's going. I think you have to recast Balin Skull. Also, tragic loss of a fantastic actor. Tragic. And it breaks your heart. He wasn't able to even enjoy the fans' reaction to his character, go to comic conventions and be, embraced by fans who just adore him. Right. Yeah. Taken too soon, both of them. But I think they have to recast Balin. Right. And I don't think they can. Well, I think Grief Karga, he's a high magistrate. You can, like they have with Cara Dune, they can just not address it for a while, and they can say that they're off doing a thing, and you may never see him again. Or they may actually have him die off screen and have some sort of commemoration of him on Navarro. Baymax says they'll probably set up Navarro and Grief having been annihilated by Thrawn's Star Destroyer from the Chimera, right? The Chimera for turning against the Empire, while Mando and Grogu are off on an adventure. Yeah, I think so. And they'll grieve his death properly. I hope that they do that. Real Ben, I think the Stevenson situation is just different because his character feels like it has so much more to do. Yes, right. That story's just starting. I would love if they put up in memoriam statue, much like they did with IG-11, right, or something in Navarro about him, a hologram or something. Yeah, they took the IG statue down and put a new head on him, brought him back to life, and now he's Grogu's mech, right? Yes. No, right? So that statue could absolutely be replaced with Grief Karga, High Magistrate Grief Karga. He looked great right there in the middle of Navarro. Yeah, let's do that. Oh my goodness, so good. I've had a wonderful time hanging out with you all today. Again, I hit the thing, like the video, share it out, let folks know that we're having a good time here. I have a new camera. I don't know if you guys noticed the webcam. I think you can see my eye color better. I'm getting much better color contrast using the blue screen behind me. I kind of struggled with the blue screen because my blue eyes. Sometimes when I would use the chroma key, I could chroma key out my eyes, and then you would see the background going through my eyes. So this one's much better. You actually see my eye color better. And sometimes I would adjust it and turn my eye color almost gray. Right, it would turn them really dark. So I think it's a nice camera. Invested in that. It's been good for the show, and it's going to help me out. Baymax sent me his favorite recasting. What's this guy's name? Baymax. Let me see if I can show this on screen. Leave Scriver. Leave Scriver is who he sent to me. Let me just share this with you all. Window, pick this right here. There, we'll share this. Share this with you all as we close out the show here. If I can. It's being a punk. Hold on. Share. There we go. There we go. All right. Share that. There you go. There's Leave. Right. Meg's listening. Or no, she's in Discord. She said Kathleen Kennedy's her pick. She's being a turd. Hey, I've got somebody here right at the very end of the show stopping in to say hi. How the heck?
Hey.
Good to see
someone complaining about Kathleen Kennedy? Huh?
Meg was just trolling a little bit. It's fun. It's fun. How you been, Rob? I know that you and Jason haven't been doing your daily show. Jason's taking.
We quit. We quit it. It's all over. It's done. There's no more Star Wars to talk about. We've did it all. So who cares, right?
Oh, it's coming up though. The Bad Batch. Now you're not the biggest Bad Batch fan. Is that fair?
Look, here's the thing. I'm not a fan of taking a medium like animation and doing the most mundane thing possible, especially when you have a fantastic universe like Star Wars.
You can be a friend of Yachty's then. Yachty, I went down to Florida, and then Yachty came up to the comic convention in Indiana, and this is exactly her pet peeve. You just said exactly what Yachty did. Like, you had great characters in animation, don't need to bring them in and give them subpar treatment in live action.
I'll give you an example. There's a cartoon called Primal, done by Gendy Tartakovsky, who put together the 2D Clone Wars back in the day. Yeah. And there's no dialogue, and it's riveting. Now, is it for kids? No, not exactly. It's more of a mature thing. But there was plenty of all ages stuff available in Visions, season 1 and 2. And any one of those episodes would make for a great series. Bad Batch is like, you can't distill this down into like a 3-minute, 8-minute bit and be like, yeah, that'll work. And I just feel like that's the problem with most projects you see these days. Like, they used to have these things called sizzle reels back in the day, which is what directors would put together, right, to kind of pitch a project. Yeah. And if it didn't work in a sizzle reel, it ain't moving forward. And this show ain't ever working in a sizzle reel. Like, this is for lore fans. This really should be a book series, like a YA book series. I'd be fine with that, like a good series of like the Bad Batch series of books were like 28 scholastic volumes, by.
I have my opinion about this too. I agree with you. I don't think the Bad Batch is, as a group, right, as a show, makes the transition to live action. However, I do think we'll probably get Omega. Omega will probably make the transition to live action eventually. But the Batch itself, this series after season 3, I don't think transitions to live action. I have a theory that maybe we end up getting, much like Tales of the Jedi, where they take these 3 or 4 story arcs. We could end up with a series that takes different 3 and 4 story arcs. Go back to the Clone Wars animated series, right? You get these 3 or 4 story arcs that would happen, and then you move on to something else. I think we might end up with a new series after this, where the Bad Batch show up from time to time.
Sure. I think the A-Team's a more interesting show, and that's pretty bad. Like, let's be honest, like. It's not, great theme song. Bad Batch doesn't even have a catchy A-Team. It should be full 80s. If you're going to go that who was that guy? Cannell, Stephen J. Cannell. If you're going to go that the 80s producer who put together A-Team and Hardcastle and McCormick and
Yeah.
you know, like he put all those things together. If we're gonna go down that path, then it should be more sort of a fun, you know, CBS Tonight, Monday night adventure, blah 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 blah, serial, you know, sort of thing. But they want this. I sat through the last season, you know, the whatever, and you just see these moments. It had that one good moment where they shut down they blew up the cloning facility in Camino, you know, like
Yeah.
But and the way that was done, it was executed, was directed brilliantly. I thought that was genius. But I mean that's it. Like that, there's nothing where you're like, oh, it really means these characters mean as much to you as you want them to mean. There's nothing really there, you know. Oh, sorry.
Well, we'll see where it goes with season 3. I see Ben says something about the Emperor episode. We know the Emperor is involved in season 3. Yeah, I've heard your criticisms of the Bad Batch. You and Jason as well. Not the biggest fans. I enjoy it way more than you guys. Way more. But I don't disagree. It could use like when they first started marketing the Bad Batch. And they said it was an elite mercenary team trying to find their way after the wars, right? To find their way in a galaxy. I can't remember the exact.
If you can find them, you may be able to hire the Bad Batch. Bah, bah, bah. I know, right? But it doesn't have that energy. It doesn't have that energy.
It doesn't. But that's with the way it was marketed before the first episode. I was like, oh, we're gonna get the A-Team in animation. It's going to be great, and even the characters lined up well, right? I could see Mr. T in you had all the pieces there to do the A-Team, and then they didn't.
No, it and I don't know where. I have a feeling that's how it was pitched. I have a feeling somewhere someone very creative was like, it'll be like the A-Team. Yeah, it'll be great. And then it goes through this pipeline, and and it has to fit a tone or of whatever, and we have an blah 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 blah, and you end up with this. I personally, I mean, like I haven't had to deal with any sort of Lucasfilm licensing in about 10 years, but they got a show coming out called Skeleton Crew, right? And I've seen a lot of stuff behind the scenes on this, right? And there's a lot of skulls with skeleton. It's called Skeleton Crew. Shocking, And I did this T-shirt 10 years ago that featured, it was a skull, but in the skull was Vader and the Death Star and Stormtrooper helmets. Like I made this, right? And it was actually like a kind of a dare internally. Like they gave me this really dumb reference, that was like people were trying to set me up to fail. And not Rob, I crushed that. And everyone was like, damn, that's a Star Wars shirt I would own. But Lucasfilm, Walmart bought it, but Lucasfilm rejected it because they said they don't want Star Wars associated with skulls. I'm like, tell that to Aunt Owen and Uncle Brew, right? like, don't tell me that the very first Star Wars movie has 2 charred corpses lying right there.
not to mention the great big skeleton of the crate dragon that is featured.
And this was and this was right before Lucas handed it off to Kathy. So it's not like it's a Disney Kathy Kennedy thing. There is a mentality at Lucasfilm that started, I suspect, in the mid to late 90s to early 2000s, and I say that because of the Drew Struzan book, The Art of Drew Struzan. It's a thin book, black. It's in his words. He's the poster artist, from Star Wars and all that stuff. And he talks right there when he gets to the prequels. He the Phantom Menace stuff, he walks through his talkings with George, but he gets to Revenge of the Sith, where they altered his art internally, right, and photoshopped the final poster together. And he talks about how Lucasfilm changed internally with their marketing and stuff, and there was all this corporate that just didn't exist before. So I'm assuming between 2002 2005 is when this shift changed, and they just sort of had this real conservative, I'm not saying politically, but creatively real conservative mentality with their stuff. And some people say it gets them into trouble when they venture out, but I still think The Last Jedi is, things like that aren't as brave as you think they are. I think they're still pretty conservative Star Wars films, like brave is hey, let's put a 8-foot alien, you know what I mean, who steps in poodoo, you know, in our movie, you know, like that. That's more. Nobody's done anything like Jar Jar Binks. So only George would do that. I think the Bad Batch is, again, like, how do we do something on a budget where we don't offend too many people? And so I don't know. I'm sorry if you enjoy it. Hey, you know what? I still think it's better than those Ewoks and Droids cartoons we were stuck with in the 80s, you know?
Amen, brother. Amen.
Right. But it's not, it just, I know there's so much talent at their art studio, and that doesn't showcase what they're capable of doing.
So you brought up Jar Jar Binks. So it's time for the Mike Porter dad joke. We don't have to finish just now, but you brought him up. It says, where do Gungans like to ice skate? It's a dad joke. Mike Porter dad joke. Where do Gungans like to ice skate? Well, the Jar Jar rinks. Jar Jar rinks.
But he is the chosen pun, Mike Porter.
He is Mike Porter. Good on you, Mike. Yeah. Well, I will say that I was hoping for more of a, Mr. T, and seeing the kind of 80s throwback done in Star Wars. I was really looking forward to seeing Mercenaries for Hire, but
right.
They
if
really
you can find a clone, you could hire him. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
My good. And a friend of mine, a magic maker, did a video where he took the A-Team theme and he replaced it all out, and he did a great job of it. Or you can see, Hunter and Wrecker and all in those same roles that essentially were in the A-Team, and he put the music to it. I really wanted that, but they lean more into it being a continuation of the Clone Wars. And I'm like, it's okay. But I love the show. The animation in it, and the Kiner brothers scores are great. So it makes me happy. What else? Oh, I've seen some comments in here, Rob, since you showed up. They want to know, where was it? Will wanted to know. Will Morgan. Is Rob current on Smith's Masters of the Universe?
Yeah, I watched all the 5 episodes of the second season. So it's very, look, He-Man was something I enjoyed as a kid. The cartoon itself was pretty horrible, right? The toys were fun. It's a good cartoon that does the best things, with the toys and all the different versions of that. They even got a movie character in there this season, so pretty good. My only gripe would be that, and this is not on Kevin, Kevin did an interview on the podcast last week when he was saying that Netflix gave him notes on the first season, and their notes were that it was too long, that people dropped off halfway through. And I'm like, no, they split that season in half and never told anybody, never marketed the second half in that typical Netflix way where they release half of something, and then like half a year later, they release the other half and don't market it. So the story in this one is cool, but I'm like, could have used 3 or 5 more episodes to kind of flesh it out a little bit, That being said, if you love the toys and you love that He-Man stuff, you'll have a good time, they don't treat it as a joke, even though they have these ridiculous characters, and those He-Man characters can be pretty ridiculous. They have fun, but don't make fun. And I feel that's my guiding light for anything animated or anything that you're doing with the property, is you can have fun with it, but just don't do it at its own expense, and that cartoon doesn't do that, So.
Two other things that came up earlier you weren't here for. Did you watch the Mr. and Mrs. Smith series?
I have not. Bespin and Jason have. They said it's really good. Right now I'm catching up on a bunch of anime that I missed out on. So I will.
Well, I think there's some middle episodes in there that could be bypassed. About the time you get to episode 4 or 5, when you figure out what the story is doing, then just skip to episode 8. You save yourself a couple hours of your life.
When it comes to TV shows, I treat them more like books. I don't know if I want to start like reviewing chapters of a book. I get very like I go, the totality of the book is what's important to me, not like chapter 32 you can skip and just jump to 17 and 6 and 4 and 9. It's like I don't, I get it.
you know the basic story of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they're put together as a hit team, right? The two of them, they're assassins. They go out and they act like a husband and wife. They fall in love, and then they have a dispute and they try to kill each other, right? That's the movie. That's a long time ago. Well, so they do the same thing here, except you get it in 8 episodes, and they go through the first part about them being put together and them falling in love, and then they spend about 3 episodes, maybe 4, I think 3 episodes of them falling apart. And they're going through marriage counseling, they're going through all this stuff, and I can only take so much marriage counseling where they're like, he said a mean thing to me. Oh, she disrespected me. Like it just got old.
Santa. Like,
no.
What? No.
Married,
okay. All right. Okay.
I've been married a long time. We're doing well. But then you get to episode 8 and you get the conclusion. You get how that all wraps up. So and that's fine. It's just they spent too many episodes going through the marriage therapy and spatting. Like, where it's going. Okay, you're breaking up. You're going to have a fight. Let's go straight to the fight part. That was me. But,
get right to the presents, right, Santa? Who cares about celebrating Christmas, right? Get right to let's just open the presents and get it over with, right? No, and why do we have to wait 24 days to get to the presents, right?
After you watch it, you tell me if you think those could have been done in fewer episodes.
Why couldn't Christmas be week 1? Right, and then we gotta be thankful after. Why do we have to wait so many days? It's ridiculous.
You watch it. You tell me if you don't think it could have been trimmed. And then the last is La Brea. Did you ever torture yourself to watch any of that show?
No. But I mean, I'm familiar with it, and I've seen Psycho, so I know how that goes.
Yeah.
So I think if you're gonna do something about tar pits, just have it be all the bodies you dig up, and then have it be like Alfred Hitchcock, who did the murder. Here's the body, and here's the murder. Here's the body, and there's the. Like, they just keep pulling bodies out of this.
It's a time traveling show. Journey to the middle of the earth is closer to that.
No, say I watch a lot of anime. I watch animated stuff, so you'd be surprised. Well,
that's all I have for today. I need to get back to work. I stopped a meeting so I could do this, and I got to get back into the meeting. But it had a good time visiting. Thank you so much for joining, Rob. It's fun.
Thank you.
It's good to hear you, and it's good to get to talk to you. Always enjoy discussing. Wish we could have had more time. Maybe next week, but next week is really going to be.
They're apparently filming 2 Star Wars movies this year. There's going to be plenty of making Star Wars shows coming out, folks. We're just, what I mean, like this, it's because like much like we got an election year and 2 Star Wars movies. Oh my God, the internet's going to be ridiculous. So it's coming.
Yeah, we've got stuff coming. We do, but next week's going to be primarily Bad Batch predictions. So we'll catch up with you eventually.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All
right. Sorry.
All right, hey, have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Rob, thanks again. And until next time, my friends, Merry Christmas, and may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.